refreshments in the back. There's soda, coffee. There's cakes and cookies. Help yourself. We also have a donation can if anybody can throw a few dollars in. It's going to pay for the room, and we work on donations only. So, all right. And just a couple quick announcements. I know Phil Harris, you had something you'd like to say.
I have two announcements, really. One, a gentleman by the name of Blaine Young from out of Western County, Washington County, I believe, is going to be running for the office of governor in our next governor race, and he'll be speaking at our Republican Club meeting on the 20th of this month at the VFW in Northeast. Well, I don't care what party you belong to, you're welcome to come to hear this man speak. Also, on the 29th, the Patriots will be hosting a tea party on Route 40 at Nick's Crab House, and the scheduled key speaker will be Dan Bongino, a man who's, a short description of him, he was a Secret Service agent and bodyguard for Bush and also Obama. He resigned his commission after 12 years, gave up his whole career to run for the office of U.S. Senator. We invite you all to come to that event. That's an event like tonight. There's no Democrats, no Republicans, no independents, everybody's American. We want you to come with us and pick up some great information from this man who's sacrificed so much to run for office. We thank you, and I think that will.
Thank you. I think Mary Rogers, where's Mary? Mary had an announcement. Is she in here? Oh, there you are. Sorry.
Welcome, everyone. I just wanted to make mention that Cecil County will have the Franco Bureau Day on Tuesday, September 11th, in the lobby of this building up front, from 7:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. You can come and write a little note for Paper Local Bureau, and they'll make sure that it gets delivered to them. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, just for those that have not been here before, I just want to let everybody know we meet on the first Thursday of every month. Everybody's welcome to attend, 7 o'clock. It is free. We have different speakers come in each month to do different things. We also have a Facebook page. We are involved in a local as well as state, federal, local right now. So if you want any information, you can go on there. You can also sign up on our website, cecilcountypatriots.com. I'm going to send around a sheet of paper if you want to be on our mailing list. If not, just pass it around. Just, if you want, put your name, phone number. We typically send out one email a week. That's it. We don't like, overburdening anybody with emails. So that's it. And again, as Bill mentioned, we're having a tea party on September 29th. It's going to be at Nick's Crab House. And you already know who the keynote speaker is, Dan Bongino. There's flyers on the table. You're welcome to take them. If anybody's interested in volunteering, we could use some volunteers. A couple of the other speakers, and we're still working on a few, are Commissioner Rothschild. He's the commissioner over in Carroll County. And he has been here before and spoken about Agenda 21 and property rights. He is known statewide for being an advocate of property rights and standing against Agenda 21. We also have Mario Gangemi right here. He's with Cecil Business Leaders. He's going to be one of the speakers. And Jim Rutledge, who was a candidate for the U.S. Senate in 2010 against Barb Mikulski. He has led a successful legal career in constitutional law and criminal law. We also are going to have a doctor from Cesar Rodney Institute talk about Obamacare. And we are going to have special music by Corey Shore. And I don't know if any of you know Corey Shore. Corey's 15 years old. He started writing music when he was 12, and you can Google him. His name is K-O-R-Y-S-H-O-R-E. And he is known for his first music video called Crying for America. So he's coming down with his family. He's going to be doing the music for that day. And then afterwards, we're hoping that everybody can stay. Mix is going to be open, and we can join them for lunch. And one other announcement I'd just like to make is I believe we have secured our date for the Christmas party. We haven't signed the contract yet, but it's going to be December 15th, Saturday night, at the Northeast VFW. So we'll have more information. We'll have it up on our website if anybody's interested. just check our website, all right? And yes, that's it. Ron, do you want me to go over the rules and then you can introduce the speakers?
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right. Okay, let me just go over the rules real quick. What we are going to do is have 2 candidates up here at a time. So first we are going to have Alan McCarthy and Pam Balley, and everybody else, the other candidates are going to be out of the room. We're going to walk around the room with the microphone like we've done before. You can ask whatever you want. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to give an opening statement and 2 minutes for a closing statement. Candidates running for the same seat will participate in the forum at the same time, and the other 4 candidates, like I said, will be in a separate area. After you've had an opportunity to participate, you're welcome to sit in the audience. Okay, so we walk around with the microphone, and the citizen from the audience can ask a question. You have 30 seconds to ask one question. You can direct it to one of the candidates or both of them. The candidate can answers the question. They have up to 2 minutes. If you want the second candidate to answer the question, they have up to 2 minutes as well. If the candidate did not answer the question to your satisfaction, you can follow up with the 30-second question. It has to be the same topic. It can't be another question because we don't have time for 2 questions. Then the candidate again can follow up for up to 1 minute, and the second candidate also can follow up for 1 minute. And I think that's it. So we'll start at 7:15, we'll go to 7:45, we'll take a 5-minute break, and then we'll go into the next session, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Don. My name is Ron Lovis. I'm with the Cecil County Patriots. My job tonight is to introduce the candidates. But before I do that, 2 things. One, it was already touched on that on September 29th, we have a tea party at, y'all remember where Bentley's is, or the Swiss Inn. It's now called Mixed Crab House. Everybody's invited. Please show up, please. I want to give you a little history before I introduce the candidates on the Cecil County Patriots. We originated out of the Cecil County Tea Party back in 2009. Now, I'd like to give you a little explanation on the tea parties that are held in Cecil County. We're a little different than most of the tea parties that are held throughout the country. We're non-affiliated with any party. We're not Democrat, we're not Republican, we're not independent. We're all about the people. When we have a tea party, everybody is invited. We make a point of inviting all the Democratic candidates and congressional members, all the Republican candidates and congressional members, and we try to keep ourselves above the party. What we look for is responsible government, and that's the bottom line with us. Again, on September 29th, we're having a tea party. We're inviting everybody to come. This is not about party, not in this county, and it's not going to happen about party. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our candidates. Let's start with our District 1 candidate for the Democratic Party, Pam Balley. Pam? Oh. Come on up, Pam. And Alan McCarthy, the Republican candidate. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Alan. We're going to walk around and take questions. I'm going to start at the first table, walk around. Okay, we're going to have a first opening statement from Pam Balley. Thank you.
Your mic, you've got mics individually and they're hot.
Oh yeah, that's yours, Pam. Use that morning.
Hold the mic close to your mouth, Pam. It's the only way we'll hear you.
It's a cheap system.
I'm a karaoke machine.
Hello, my name is Pamela Husfeld-Balley, and I am running for the county council seat, which will come up for re-election on November the 6th. I have learned throughout the years of very hard work that you're not going to please everyone, but if you're constantly looking out for the best interest of everyone, you will do what's best for this county. And I have been asked by several people in the area in which I live to do this because they do believe in me, because I am not afraid to stand up and fight for what I believe in and what's right for everyone's sake. People need to be heard on and what is the best interest of this county. It is my opinion that you cannot make any promises because no matter who is elected, this person is going to have their work cut out for them when they get into the county government as it is. This charter government is the whole brand new ballgame. My mission is to truly get in there and find out the needs of this county and better serve the people. My vision is to truly get all of us working together on the same page for the good of this county, and that is my #1 goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Dr. McCarthy?
My name is Alan McCarthy. I live in Chesapeake City, Maryland. I've been a resident of Cecil County for approximately 35 years at this point. Prior to what I do now, I was a veterinarian and basically did large animal medicine. The main reason for me running is basically to bring some sobriety and sensibility to the government. I'm a pro-business person because government basically pays the taxes, which allows us to have responsible government. What I've seen in the last 6 to 8 months is basically very much to my unliking, and that's the main reason I'm running for this position. My primary desires are to complete the infrastructure on the Route 40 corridor, basically develop the Tier 1 area or the Route 40 I-95 corridor so we can bring in responsible green businesses. With these few goals in mind, I basically would desire to put my efforts into creating this pro-business government, basically reducing the taxes and establishing a system whereby everyone's treated pretty equally. The other thing that I would like to do is push back against the state government, which has ridiculous mandates placed upon the citizens. And that's essentially my position. Thank you.
Let's get started. All right, we'll start over here. Anybody at this table have a question? Mario?
Ms. Bailey, it's good to see you, and I applaud you for running for office. You indicated some pretty strong things in your opening statement, that your desire,
And I mean them.
and I believe that you mean them. So my question's going to be a tough one. For somebody who means what they say, I haven't seen you at any commissioner meetings. There's been some pretty difficult topics there.
Yes, sir, there have. And let me tell you, let me explain this to you. No, sir, you haven't. But because you haven't seen me doesn't mean I haven't been kept up what's going on. I, since June the 10th, have been I've not been even at my job. I've been out of work all summer. Today is my first day back on my job. My mother was taken critically ill. She had a massive heart attack. She had an aortic valve replacement. She went into AFib, congestive heart failure. She's had her lungs filled up. Yesterday I had them drained. Went into the, I have been dealing with a very sick mother. My ex-father-in-law is very sick. My mother today, I'm at work, my first day back. 11:45, I get a phone call, the electric's going off in Cecilton. The oxygen, she has to be hooked up to a backup tank that I have. Got in, I called my oldest son. I said, little Bill, could you please go to your grandmother's and hook her up to oxygen? She's without electric. He said, Mom, I'm on my way to Christiana. Dad called me. I took a turn for the worst. No, you have not seen me. My mother, my family is a priority. I've done the best I can. I've kept up. I have kept in touch with on seeing things done. I work behind the scenes. At the School of Tech where I work very hard. I know how to work hard for a living. I'm a down-to-earth, grassroots person.
And that's kind of, let me ask a follow-up question. I don't think I'm allowed to do that. And listen, very sorry to hear all those things. That's not fun. Families should be first.
No, but they are.
The primary was in March.
Yes, sir.
And there were a lot of things
It's
that
in
happened
April.
from March, April. So a lot of things were going on then as well. You say you're working behind the scenes, and that's great. What are you doing behind the scenes?
Okay. I have, and I didn't see you at the Perryville Firehouse for a meeting with the fire companies. I didn't see you there. I was there. I have given up all the nights that I can possibly give up. I have worked, my ex and my sons, my youngest son Travis is a volunteer for our company. Now all of a sudden they want to do away with the volunteers. I hope you can fulfill the position of a volunteer that they have done, if you're on the same boat that they are. I can give back. I believe in giving back to this community. I've worked here all my life. My heart is here, and like I said, I've had people ask me to do this because they believe in me, because I am a go-getter and a very hard worker. Thank you very much.
Would you do me a favor? I'm sorry, would everybody say their name and their address for the press? I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Bill DeFreitas, 42 Clearview Court, Elton, Maryland. Pam, you said you've been keeping up in the background. Give us your opinion on SB 236 and the property rights that many of the citizens are
The House
concerned
bill?
about. House Bill 236.
Senate bill.
Senate bill. You said HB, you know.
SB. SB 236, your opinion, and also your opinion on how the commissioners have been handling the public meetings on this file.
Now, the SB 36, are we talking about the, please tell me what that Senate bill is. Honestly, I'll tell you right now.
About the land tier maps and property rights for
Okay.
farmers and anyone who might have large amounts of land.
You're talking about farmland possibly?
Talking about any lands that end up in tier 3, tier 4 of the bill, and Plan Maryland itself.
Okay, because it was my understanding when I asked about the, one of the bills that was, and I couldn't remember the number. I cannot remember the exact number. But it would be an effect that it would have on the farmers because of the water and sewer connections, the interconnections. I want to make sure we're talking about the same bill, sir. Are we? Okay. And it was just my understanding that it would affect the farmers in a big way to where the farmland would go down.
And Alan, McCarthy, how about the same?
This is reference to
Senate Bill 236 and
I'm very much against Senate Bill 236, especially the way that the county commissioners have presented it to the county. The original comprehensive plan, which was passed and approved 2 years ago, basically delineated how this county was to be subdivided or basically partitioned off for these particular purposes. The new commissioners, I think, have egregiously overstepped their boundaries and added more to that ground, taking the property rights away from farmers and other concerned citizens. I also feel that the state's made a just tremendously big mistake in not having assisted the counties long ago in putting in an infrastructure along the growth corridor so that these developments could have been placed there and not in the rural areas.
Anybody at this table right here? Do I have a question? No? Okay.
Lloyd Sanders, Lake Drive, Rising Sun, and questions for either one of you, actually. And I just have, do you have an opinion on what the biggest impediment is to job growth or creation in the county and what you would do about it?
Well, one issue that I know that they've been working on, the county commissioners, was the building out on Appleton Road that they were looking at for it's called the, let me make sure I say this right, it's the BASSELL building. They were looking at it possibly for the school. And then they said no, they could make more money if they bring a corporation into this building than they would be able to utilize it for students. My opinion on that would be to educate our students, hire from within this county, people who live in the county. That is my opinion on this, in my honest opinion. If we don't educate our students and we don't have the proper facilities for our students, we're going to lose in the long run. And that is my opinion.
Shall I address this question also? I think the most important thing that we need to do is create a business-friendly environment. Secondly, we need to basically put the infrastructure on the Route 40 corridor so businesses will be willing to come. Anybody with nickels worth of sense realizes that businesses cannot be sustained by a well and a septic system. They have to have modern equipment, they have to have modern utilities. You need internet there. You need gas service there. We need to build these things and attract businesses. Most of the people that are in business look to the areas they want to go to see if the government is friendly or harsh to them. We have seen many good companies come and go because nothing is here that would allow them to have a prosperous, thriving business. Concerning the Bazel property, I think it would be important to try to secure this. I cannot see a better deal anywhere around for this county other than to go there. Concerning other commercial entities, there is tremendous vacancies in Delaware right now, which I think would preclude anybody from wanting to take the Bazel property immediately. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else at this table here?
My name's Stephen My name's Stephen England. I live at 327 Bard Cameron Road, Rising Sun. My question's for you, Pam. When Mario asked earlier about what you were doing behind the scene, I was interested to hear a little more detail on that question.
Okay, when I said I was working behind the scenes, when the fire companies went to the meeting at Perryville, I worked very hard on that to support the fire companies because Cecilton Volunteer Fire Company realizes they have dropped a lot of calls. And I remember when the budget went in place for Mr. Brooks, there was no way we could afford his budget. So I applaud the fire companies for trying to get together and working something out. That's what I mean about people working together. You have people on the lower end of the county that, same with everybody else, have to work for a living, and the calls were being dropped until 2:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I know a certain young man that worked hard, and I worked, along with him, to try to figure out a way to where the fire companies can do this themselves without us having a high budget. That's what I meant when I said I worked behind the scenes, and that's exactly what I do.
I have a follow-up, please. I was thinking more specifically of something on the county level. I certainly appreciate your work with the fire companies, but I was thinking more of
The county level also. I have been to the meetings when they've been talking about this fast cell building. I have listened to them and I have been there, and it's a hard economic time, to be honest to you, and I meant what I said. I'm one person. We'll be getting in there and working with 4 other people. It's going to take us all working together on the same page. And I am a very hard worker, and I mean that I will do the best I can. And you can call at any time. And there will be no secrets. It will be all up front, all on the table. There will be no hidden truths. People in this county will know what's going on at all times.
Yeah, my name is Ed Newell. I live in Conway. The question is, aside from Senate Bill 236, what strategy or regulations would you offer to protect the rural character of Cecil County, especially the western part of Cecil County, which used to be called the land that time forgot? We are starting to see developments, 60, 80 acres popping up everywhere. Placards advertising more subdivisions almost every road you go down. How can we slow this down?
I know. I have an opinion on it.
The question is how to slow down the development of the rural areas?
Yeah. Yes.
The Senate Bill 236, I think, will do that. In the Tier 4 districts, you just really can't do anything. You might be able to make a parcel removal from one larger piece of ground, but other than that, I think that you're stuck. This bill is essentially designed to keep you from building anything.
Well, it also lowers your property values too.
Yes, it does.
Tier 2 versus Tier 4 next to a Tier 3 across the road.
Well, what we have is 4-tier system. The first one is Tier 1, which basically water and sewer is in place. Tier 2, water and sewer has been designated to be put into these areas in the near future. Tier 3, basically, you have to have a septic system, which means you have to comply with the health department and all their rules and regulations. Tier 4, I mean, essentially, they're telling you that they don't want you to develop it. So I think that these problems will take care of themselves. The other problem is, or the other issue, is that you will lose your property value because the ability to subdivide it is almost gone. Even I guess it's to convey a parcel of ground even to your children is almost impossible.
Okay, my second question is, many citizens of Cecil County.
No second question.
Anybody else at this table? About back here.
Can you hear me? I'll be straight in. Brian Shirey, Calvert, Maryland. Question for both candidates. Wondered if you could provide a little more color, a little more detail about what your plans are for fighting against the state mandates. I think all of us in here are well aware of federal problems. Seems like there's going to be a push down to the state and ultimately to us down here in the county. Recent pension legislation is an example.
I can answer that very, very simply from my perspective, is I would basically take this to court. I wouldn't comply with any of their stuff unless I was forced to do so.
Amen. For me also. Well, I thought that's what we have a county attorney in place for. Doesn't the county, I mean, we still have a county attorneys working for this. And as far as farmland preservation, what happened to the agriculture land preservation? That will help preserve some of the farmland. And that's what I was going to say about that, but I didn't get an opportunity, so I wanted to add to that. Thank you very much.
Okay, anybody over here? This table? Nobody?
Good evening. My name is Jeff Spangler. I live at 318 Roland Drive in Port Palmer, Maryland. Pam, you touched on this a little bit earlier ago where we were talking about the Department of Emergency Services, their proposal to put forth a professional group of paramedics, mainly during the afternoon hours, to respond to calls that were being dropped by volunteers, mainly because the volunteers got to work. So my question is, if volunteer departments aren't able to respond, what would be your alternative if not to have a professional paramedic force? And this is directed to you too, Al.
Well, what the Cecilton Volunteer Fire Company had come up with is the money that they get paid through the county commissioner's office for their ambulance. They were going to have a paid paramedic at their station. Cecilton and Hacks Point were going to go together. And I commend them for working together. That's what we should be doing, working as a team. They were going together as fire companies to have, because Hacks Point drops calls too. And that's what I meant by that. They were going to hire, the county commissioners paid them for their ambulance calls.
Right.
And they were looking at a $30,000 paid position for one, wherever it be housed at, Cecilton or Hacks Point. But there truly is a need for a paid person, because when someone calls here, you truly need to be available for that person. For an emergency, that's what we had discussed, and that's where I said I was working hard behind the scenes, and we did.
The truth of the matter is, for me, is I'm not certain exactly how to handle these issues. But if it were necessary right now, I think I would probably try to strategically place 24-hour supervision in centrally located places that have equal access to this county. I know that Elkton is very, very good at responding, and possibly they could do it. I don't know what a good response time should be. Elkton would have a hard time responding to a critical situation, let's say, south of Cecilton. So I think a lot of effort should be put into determining how to best handle this, but I don't know that answer now.
Harold Mechanic, 694 McKinney Road, which is just on the somewhere side of the bridge to nowhere. This question is addressed for both of you, or intended for both of you. Where do you stand on the collective bargaining for county employees, including the sheriff's department?
sheriff's department, it's my understanding that they did get a pay raise, correct me if I'm wrong. But it's my understanding that they did. And I believe that these deputies do put their lives on the line, and that the law enforcement is very critical in this day and time. With the drugs that are out there, our drugs have run high. And like I said, I cannot make any promises till I get in there, but I am for the deputies being paid for their duties out there for the collective bargaining. I would be taking a hard look at that.
Well, what would unionizing them do to improve that?
What would I do?
What would unionizing them do to improve that?
When they have a union leader come to the, see, this is where my understanding is running for county council. This is my understanding that would come to the county executive. Now, am I getting this right or wrong?
It comes to those, I believe.
Okay. Well, it would be, I mean, I would get down in there and work down in there, go line item by line item. That is my plan, to take a good hard look at this budget. And I am very conservative. And I am not for raising taxes, because I am a taxpayer myself. And I come from the poor side of town, not the rich.
Same question for Dr. McCarthy.
I'm not in favor of collective bargaining.
My name's Pat Allred. I live at 184 National Road, Maryland. This question is directed to both. What in your educational or business background? What in your educational or business background qualified you to be on the board of directors of a $160 million corporation known as Cecil County?
Very good question, and I will answer that first if it's okay with you. I have worked over in the courthouse on a very hard shoestring budget. I have worked at the Board of Education on a shoestring budget. I know how to do without. And there are ways that they can cut, and like I said, to take a hard look at it. And my way is, and I do know you, Mr. Allred, from when I worked at the courthouse, when you used to come into the county commissioner, when you come in there. And I think, and it's my opinion, that I work very well with people. I believe in getting to the root of the problem. And I believe in working very hard for everyone to look out for that taxpayer's dollar.
To answer your question, I'll do the best I can. I basically have a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Maryland Chemistry. I have a doctorate's degree from the University of Georgia. I've created 5 businesses. All of them are profitable, successful, and I've sold all of those businesses. At present time, I own probably no less than 60 properties that I manage, have bought, sold, and rented. This is basically, they're in 3 different states. I've done all that. I've done many other things, probably too numerous for me to even think of. I've invested lots of money in the stock market. I've done well there. I dealt with bonds. I carried mortgages. I buy and sell all the time. I think that I'm pretty well grounded, and I have a whole lot more today than I did when I started.
Anybody at this table here? No? All right, I guess we'll go around again. Does anybody have another question? No? Kathleen O'Connell. Can you hear me?
No?
No, not really.
Put it up here, you vote.
Oh, this way? Got it.
Yeah, okay, that, I put it straight up like a cigar. That's right.
I don't know about cigars. I just have a follow-up that I wanted to ask him just for clarification. Did you say that you are for collective bargaining?
I said I would have to get in there and really see the collective bargain, what it is all about, to look at the baseline. But I do believe these deputies are entitled, and as I said.
Are you in favor of the sheriff's department becoming unionized?
At this point, I haven't really done the homework on it. I wouldn't want to say, because I have not done the homework on that.
Okay.
And I think that they have a right to look into it, and I think that we have a right to be presented it and work as, work as it as needed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Start over here. Anybody at this table? No. Mary? Is there anybody?
Mario Ganjami, 1 Woodbine Circle, and no, I'm not here to attack candidates tonight. I do appreciate you coming tonight, and appreciate you running for office. I have no doubt that you're going to work hard if you're in a position of county council. I have no doubt that you're going to put your heart into it, and you've given that answer quite often, and I believe you're sincere in that response. But we're looking for some real answers. What are you going to do? You're in county council, and we've got some hard decisions to make.
Just what I told you I was going to do. Work very hard with the other team members. Work as a team on this. I believe in working as, I can't do it by myself.
I've seen a lot of losing teams work really hard but still lose because they're not doing the things they need to do. I'm looking for real answers.
Do you think that I would not be doing the things that need to be done? I want to ask you that question.
We don't know because you haven't given us any specific answers as to how you would solve the infrastructure problem, how you would solve the economic development. Working hard, it's great, it's noble, but we're looking for some real answers,
With the
some real ideas.
With the infrastructure, who's going to get rich off of it in the Route 40, I-95 corridor?
I'm asking the questions tonight, sorry.
I'm telling you the truth, and I'm being as honest to you as I can.
You don't have an answer is what you're saying.
Oh, yes, sir, I do. But when I get in there, I'm going to have my work cut out for me because some of the people in there have an interest in this as the owners of that North Corridor I-95 area. And it's going to be work, but I'm going to work on it. And let me say this. I will say this and be honest to you. You're not going to know. I mean, I'm not living in the area in which I live. But I mean to tell you, when it comes to full support, and I'm telling you that there will be no secrets, there will be no secrets. Everybody from all districts, all counties. There will be no closed doors meetings, only if it's to fire somebody. Everything's going to be out on the table. And I'm telling you, I will not make any promises at this meeting because there's a lot of hard work cut out for you when you get in there. And I was asked to do this and I'm going to give it my best.
Donna.
We're out of time?
Just
okay.
about.
All right, okay. That's it?
One more.
Okay, Don.
To both candidates, if elected as councilperson to Cecil County, what is the first thing you would do after taking office?
I personally would sit down there and take a good hard look at the budget to see exactly what's coming in and exactly what's going out. And I will get with the people in this, and I've worked in the courthouse for over 8 years. Some of the people have retired, some of the people are still there. But I do believe in working with the department heads and working with them hard to see what their needs are and to say, we need to cut this, you cannot have what you put in the budget. And I believe in working with them on a effective basis.
Dr. McCarthy.
The first thing that I would do if I was elected to the position is I would confer with the other council members. I would try to put a priority list into place and then establish a way to accomplish the priorities. Now, I think that there's lots of issues here, and I think that's exactly where I'd start, and I'd just start chipping away at them. That's going to take a long, long time, but we need to basically turn this county around, make it work for the citizens.
All right, I'd like to thank both candidates, Pam Balley, Dr. Alan McCarthy, and we're going to conclude this portion of the question and answer period, and we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back and start with the 5th district. Thank you.